Hey there, how's it going? We are in the Grand Hyatt, which is right next to Taipei 101 here in Taipei, Taiwan, and this is the Antec suite. They have a lot of stuff we want to show off. We've done actually several videos with Antec recently, and they're really starting to modernize their product lineup, so let's take a look. So this is the P20C ARGB, and Lisa's gonna get up close on this one because this is the white version, and God, I love white cases. Look at these white components they fit in there as well. Looks super clean. They've got these ARGB fans in here that you're gonna get included with the case. And not only does it look really good inside, it's also got plenty of airflow. Check out the perforated front panel there with an integrated dust filter up top. A lot of hardware support in here, 360s, 240s. And in the black variant here, you can see they've got one of their graphics card holders. This keeps the card propped up. You know, the bigger these cards get, the more they tend to sag. So having things like this to keep things nice and horizontal are a big help. And this one's actually made of tempered glass. It's not acrylic, it's not plastic. I think that's really cool. Now you've seen the Performance One FT on our channel. We built in it in a dedicated video, which I'll try to have linked below if I remember to do so. This is the white variant. You can see pretty much everything on the inside has been whited out. You still get the small Antec logo off to the front, which I think is really clever. It's very subtle, but you know it's an Antec case, a very modern one at that. The rubber grommets in the back are gray, which I think is a nice touch. It kind of adds a bit of contrast to the build. A lot of motherboards today don't have like solid white PCBs anymore, maybe some white shrouds, but there's always a bit of black that shows through. And so having contrast that complements it in the case itself is nice. And that contrast extends to the front panel here. So you'll notice that it still retains this sort of metallic sort of texture here, and the color is intentional. Right? They didn't want to paint everything about this case white. So again, just adds a bit more contrast. I think it looks really good this way. You've still got your screen up top that if you want, we'll show you system usages, temperatures, and things like that. You can configure that with Antec software. Antec's shifting much of their fan lineup to 30 mil thickness, which of course is gonna add just more pressure overall. You're gonna be able to displace more air, the same RPM. So in theory, your fan should be able to run a bit quieter. But you see these here, these are still in the prototype phase. They're not released yet, but you've got the RGB rings that show not only on the front side, but also the back side. So if you want to set these to intake, in a lot of cases, the fans don't look great from this position because you can't see the RGB and you just see the ugly frame. But now they've actually added RGBs to the inside of the frame as well. I think that looks really cool. Now check this one out. This is what they're calling the Canon. It's a new case and it's an elegant one at that. You've got a sideways oriented motherboard there. It looks really cool. You've got like a dual chamber design going on with some space in the middle. You can actually fit up to 4 360 millimeter radiators in this thing. I don't know how they do that. So 2 of them are there. I guess you can mount a third here if you didn't have a reservoir here. And then you mount a fourth at the, is this the rear? I guess this is the back of it, but it's also like a place to mount fans and radiators. So all around, this is pretty incredible. You can see we've got a reservoir up front, and I'm told this is somewhere around the $300 to $350 price range, which for a showcase like this, and this is a super elegant design, open air all around, I don't think that's too bad. We've got power supplies galore. These are the Neo Eco lineups, and you can see that you can get them in white and black, which I think is cool. Also, ATX 3.0, PCIe 5.0 ready, so you can connect the latest and greatest graphics cards via this little port right there. Can you see that on camera? I don't know if you can see that on camera. And lastly, this is their Constellation MATX 540 case. This is not on the market yet, but it is absolutely beautiful. So far, only a white version is expected to be offered. They might offer a black later on. You can see perfectly clear tempered glass straight into a beautiful build, arranged in a unique fashion. So you get a 360 mil fan rad combo up top here, plenty of airflow, obviously. It's all totally perforated, and everything comes off super smooth. You see, it's just like totally toolless, super easy to install and remove. Same goes with the front panel, pops off with ease, and this is actually where you'll mount your power supply. So you could turn the fan on this side, have the power supply intake air, or you could leave it set to intake from the inside of the case if you wanted to change up the airflow just a tad. This one looks really cool, and it actually, I think, comes with 4 PCIe slots at the rear, so some room for expandability if you're not using extremely long graphics cards. Speaking of, you can see this card is exceptionally long, and so if you're using power supplies that aren't totally like, you know, massive cinder blocks in size, you can fit even like 4080s, 49s in here. Again, airflow looks really good. You set some intake fans there at the bottom. You get the color combination right. You can see they've done a nice black and white build here. This is a pretty sweet looking build in a pretty sweet looking case. Oh, and did I mention you also get a display here off to the side which shows CPU and GPU temps. I think this is really cool. This is a much better place, in my opinion, for this kind of usage to be displayed. You know, if you've got a case like this sitting on its side on your desk, this is just much easier to see than, say, somewhere on the top of your build. So that was a lot from Antec. Lisa is trying her hardest to walk backwards and not trip. We'll see how long this lasts. I'm just gonna take my time with the outro.
Yeah, where's the outro?
The good thing is we're actually staying in this hotel, so we can just go down a few floors and finally nap. I think this will be one of our final videos here at Computex, so at risk of being slightly redundant, I want to thank you guys for watching this coverage, and looking forward to resuming our normal content here within the next few days. My name is Greg. Her name behind the camera is Lisa. I want to thank Lisa as well for dealing with my attitude and lack of patience and all of that. She's making a face right now. You can't see it. Anyway, thanks for traveling with us.